Hey, what's up, guys? Jag from Jaggy Sports. Tough day. January 26, 2022. 2 years ago to this date, Kobe Bryant, Gianna, his daughter, and the others died in that horrific helicopter accident. And a very tough day. I remember 2 years ago to this day, I was just in shock, like the entire world. Everybody mourned that day, and yeah, it's still affecting a lot of us. So I won't say too much. Just hope they rest in peace, and just show you a clip or two from First Take today, honoring the legend of Kobe Bryant and the rest of the people that died. And for me personally, he's the greatest of all time. Jag from Jaggy Sports.
2 years ago today that we lost a legend, icon, the Hall of Famer, the Mamba, far too soon, and his beautiful and talented Gianna. We'll be honoring Kobe Bryant throughout the show, and my prayers are with his wife, Vanessa, his daughters, his parents, all his loved ones on what is an extremely difficult day. And Jay, Stephen A., you've been around basketball most of your lives. I know both of you know Kobe personally. I'll start with you, Jay. How will you remember him?
He was a mentor to me in so many different ways, inspired me. And today, obviously, Molly, we were talking about this before the show, very heavy day. I feel like it kicked off a lot of things 2 years ago.
A lot of pain.
Yeah, with where we are now. But I come at today with a level of appreciation and gratitude because how I live my life, it's funny. Stepping on the court or stepping into the arena here with you guys and Stephen A., there was a relentlessness, there was an attack mindset. There was an appreciation for the detail. And there was something passionate about that, Stephen. You know what I mean? There's something uplifting and rewarding about attacking each moment of your life with the same kind of passion and sense of urgency that Kobe Bryant did. And I try to do that with my daughter, my wife, my son, my family, my mom, my dad. And that's how I try to embrace a day like today with how I will attack my future days.
That's a good way of putting it. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I remember one of the conversations that I had, and it's one of my most memorable conversations with Kobe I had, quite frankly, on ESPN 2 years ago in 2005 to 2007. And, you know, everybody was talking about it at the time, particularly when I did the sit-down interview with Allen Iverson. And they were like, you know, saying, Stephen A. trying to be Oprah. Stephen A. gonna be Oprah. And Kobe saw me, and he said, he used the F word, but I won't say that, obviously. He said, forget Oprah. Harpo. Harpo. He was in his mid-20s.
Yeah.
That's how he thought. And, you know, when you consider the fact that this dude, a five-time champion, a former league MVP, one of the greatest players in NBA history, and what he brought to the table on the basketball court, he had his post-basketball career planned and mapped out. He knew what he was going to do. And I only say for the immediate future because he constantly evolved and was always looking to improve upon that. And anybody who knew him knew he didn't care for those who wanted to limit themselves. He didn't care about limitations. He wanted you to springboard. He wanted you to maximize your potential. And then he insisted that you go out and inspire others to do the same. And so when I think about him, you know, today, and one of the things, and people don't realize this, you think about him a lot when you watch the NBA today. I've often told you, my personality is my personality, and I get that. But it vibes with those old school cats. The Hall of Famers are the ones who hold me accountable. I cannot tell you how many superstars have called me over the years. Don't let that dude off the hook. You call that out. You do it to me. That's what they said. He's passed now. Kobe was one of those dudes. He didn't sit up there and talk about any players or anything like that. He didn't roll like that. But what he would say is, excuse me, you hold us accountable. He said, wait a minute. If I sit up there and I'm shooting like garbage and I ain't getting the job done or I'm not committed to winning or anything like that, you'd call me out. Don't let anybody off the hook. Hold us all accountable because that helps uplift the game. And that's a big, big deal to me because when I'm talking about sports the way that I do, it's not just him. He epitomizes and personifies what so many others before him would say about how we have to protect the game and the integrity of the game by holding people accountable for their effort and their commitment, not their skill set, but their effort and their commitment to excellence. And that's what he's all about. That's what he personified. And, you know, that's why we remember him today.
Yeah, and I just want to say two things quickly. To your point, Jay, Kobe would be telling us, don't fight the old, build the new. How can you be your best spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally? And when I think of the word Kobe Bryant, that's what he makes you strive to be the greatest version of yourself. And the other thing, I just want to share one story. I think I was like 22 years old working for ESPN Mobile. Remember when we had the ESPN phone?
Yeah.
And I got sent out to Southern California for a Powerade commercial. And they were with Kobe, and Kobe did the commercial in English, in Spanish, and Italian. He's brilliant. He's so cultured, and I was just so impressed by that. And like you said, when he passed away, it kicked off a lot of pain for all of us, me personally. And one thing that I actually have done during this pandemic, I've never said it, is I'm in school full-time studying Spanish.
Yeah.
And, you know, Kobe, he really does, because my goal is to be able to interview in Spanish as well. But I never said it because I didn't want people to start talking to me because I'm not there yet. But really, that Mamba mentality, I strive to be like him. And what a legacy that is.
Yeah.
That just to hear his name makes you want to be a better person and your best in every aspect. He's such a beautiful spirit. And my heart just breaks for his wife and his children. And I'm sending them all my strength and love and prayers. And I hope they have a peace that passes all understanding, because I know today's going to be a difficult day.
It's devastating. But I think that, you know, we'd all be devastated. And I'm just going to leave it at this because I know we got to move on. It's devastating for him to be gone. It's devastating to know that his 13-year-old daughter is gone too.
Yeah.
Along with 7 others. But how you go also impacts us. If Kobe had died of natural causes, we'd mourn and we'd be incredibly sad. But the tragic fashion in which it happened is really, really what stays. I mean, I'm in California sometimes, and I'm driving, and you know, going towards Calabasas and stuff like that. You know, it hits your head, and you're like, damn, and it just messes with your whole spirit at that particular moment. And sometimes that's what it really, really affects a lot of people too. It's how it happened, not just that it happened.
Yeah, he meant so much to so many people.
Yeah.
And one last thing, the best trip I ever went on in my life was to Italy, and Kobe hooked that up for us. So I will always thank him for that. It was my only time in Europe. It was incredible. We know he spent some of his childhood there. So that's a positive memory, the Amalfi Coast. So thank you, Kobe, for that.
Je ne sais quoi?
Yeah.
Like, that's him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's him.
Yeah.
Listen, we all know what today is. It's a 2-year anniversary of Kobe Bryant's passing. We understand that, and that doesn't leave us in a good mood. But if we want to get in a good mood, think about the greatness that he blessed us with throughout his illustrious career as a Los Angeles Laker. So guess what I'm doing today? It's time for an A-list. And today's A-list is about that brother, Kobe Bryant. Today I've got the top 5 Kobe Bryant moments for me personally. It's all open to debate because there were so many, but I'm going to give you my top 5 first. Number 5 on the list. Give it to me right now, please. Look at that game winner versus the Phoenix Suns 2006 playoffs. This brother gets the ball, pulls up over my brother Raja Bell, pulls up right there, and then does that MJ fist pump. There you go with Lamar Odom and those boys jumping into his arms. That was after Shaquille O'Neal was going. That was when it was clearly Kobe Bryant's team. It was before Pau Gasol arrived, obviously so. But you see what I'm talking about. Let's go to number 4 on the list, please. Give it to me right now. Kobe Bryant, this kind of hurt my feelings. I had to tell him it hurt my feelings because he did this to my New York Knicks. Came into Madison Square Garden and said, let me remind these people of who the hell I am. Madison Square Garden, February of 2009. Kobe Bryant puts on an absolute show. Dropped 61 on the New York Knicks. A victory. Now let's go to number 3 on the list, please. Give it to me right now. Give it to me. Look at this dunk versus the Denver Nuggets, okay? Behind the back, reverse slam right there, February of 2003. That was Kobe Bryant. Look at that brother right there. It was something special. Some of the best times in the history of the NBA because of some of those moments like that. But it ain't number 2 on the list. We know what number 2 is, right? Give it to me, please. 81 points against the Toronto Raptors. Our colleague, Jalen Rose. He was on that team. Coach of the year. One of the coach of the years. Sam Mitchell, he was coaching at Toronto Raptors. That's my brother. Great coach, great dude. But that particular night, boxing won, double teamed, did everything he could to Kobe Bryant. It didn't matter. He dropped 81 points. 81. Only Wilt Chamberlain's 100 has registered higher in the history of basketball. Still in all, just because you scored 81 points, that didn't make it number one. Here's what number one was to me. I was there in attendance. His final game of his career, April of 2016, Kobe Bryant versus the Utah Jazz, when he dropped 60. When Jay-Z was courtside, when Snoop Dogg was in attendance with himself doing a selfie, going crazy. This is the show that Kobe Bryant put on, pulling up from everywhere, on his last legs with his family in attendance. I was there. The stars came out. It was his final game, and it was a spectacular, spectacular memory he left for us all. These are my top 5 moments for me personally in the career of Kobe Bryant. There are others I could have easily put in here because he had so many, but they just jumped out of my mind. I'm giving it to you.
No debate with that list for the first time. Stephen A., very well done. You didn't get the reverse dunk on Minnesota, but you couldn't get everything, obviously.
Too many.
Mamba out. How about 60 his final game? I forgot about that till you brought that up.
It's crazy.
Marcus, where are you on this? Any other memories that Stephen A. left off?
Nah, phenomenal list. The one I would say is when he threw the alley to Shaq.
Yeah.
And you realize the evolution of Kobe Bryant's game.
I was there too.
And how he was willing.
One too, Marcus.
Yeah, how he was willing to take a back seat when needed. And you remember, Stephen A., that was the conversation. Is Kobe going to force it? Will he he threw that alley, man, and Shaq came down pointing, and you could see them jump into each other's arms.
The only reason I didn't put that moment up there, and I was there, but that back in the day, I was sitting in the rafters, I mean, I was Stephen A., but I was writing for the Philadelphia Inquirer, not being all over TV, so I didn't have the seats I would have now. But the point that I'm making to you is that the stadium was rocking. It was absolutely a sensational moment. But Shaq's, even though Kobe threw the pass, after he shook off Scottie Pippen, by the way, who was a Portland Trailblazer at the time, the bottom line is the dunk by Shaq is why I didn't put that on the list, because Shaq dunked it. If Kobe had dunked it, it would have been different.
No doubt. I love the list, though. Yes. I love the list. And I heard y'all make y'all tribute to Kobe. The one thing I'll remember for sure, S.A., and obviously the basketball moments, is the legendary father he was. Yeah. To me, that's the story that we all should still tell, and I know y'all do it well, but you think about legacy. Legacy was happenstance because Kobe was going to be a great basketball player, and I feel like that was for us. And obviously his children, his family, his wife benefited from that. But ultimately, the legend and legacy will lie with his family and his girls that are still here. Obviously, we miss G. She was ascending as one of the best female basketball players in the country. But as a father that had the opportunity to play a professional game, you realize more and more as you get towards the end that my real legacy gonna lie with the people that I look in the face every day in my home. And I thought he was doing a tremendous job doing that while doing so many other things.
He adored his daughter.
We got to go to break. He bragged about Gianna.
She would have been at UConn. He said that every time.
And he told me years earlier, she's going to UConn.
Yeah.
She's going to play for Gino Auriemma.
Yep.
And that she's going to the WNBA.
Yep.